Hello and welcome. This is India Global. I'm Gaurie, Dwivedi. Let's get you the headlines this Monday evening. First up, Japan's Ishiba wins Prime Minister vote amidst massive scandal. Ishiba has been re-elected hours after his cabinet resigned. COP29 opens in Azerbaijan for talks on climate finance. Delegates from nearly 200 countries attending. Negotiations seek increase in $100 billion target for developing nations. Bramton Hindu temple attack organizer has been arrested. Indrajit Gosal charged with assault with a weapon. Kremlin denies reports of talks with the president-elect Donald Trump. Russia says the reports of Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin speaking are just pure fiction, and says that Putin has no concrete plans yet to speak to US President-elect Donald Trump. All right, the first story that we are focusing on in today's India Global is the latest situation that's unfolding in Bangladesh. In fact, there's lots happening right now in Bangladesh, and let's take that one by one. First and most important bit, that is that Bangladesh's interim government is now seeking Interpol to repatriate former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. She is in India on asylum, and the Yunus government is now seeking Interpol's help to issue a red corner notice for the former Prime Minister. An interim government has accused Sheikh Hasina of brutal, quote-unquote, suppression. Now, what really happens in the event of a red corner notice? How does it function? Remember, Interpol is a multinational, multi-nation police agency that's headquartered in France. How does it work? Can it really ensure the repatriation that Bangladesh's interim government wants to? Let's first take a look at this report that my colleague Disha Bakshi has filed to really understand what this red corner notice is all about. Then we come back and talk more about the big picture that's unfolding in Bangladesh.
What is a Interpol notice? So an Interpol notice is essentially an international alert which helps share any sort of information about a criminal or any sort of information about a crime that could be taking place, as well as information about missing persons, as well as missing or unidentified dead bodies in some cases. So it is an international alert to share information about crimes between various member nations. So it is an alert that is shared between the police forces of these member nations to help exchange information about the whereabouts of a criminal or who is accused in a member nation or any sort of other criminal activity. Now, these Interpol notices are color-coded. As I mentioned, the Yunus government is attempting to issue a red notice, which is for wanted persons and persons who are facing trial in a particular member nation. Now, some other color-coded notices are the blue notice, which basically seeks additional information about the whereabouts of a certain wanted person, whether it comes to their location, and any other such details that could be crucial in order to apprehend them. Now, the green Interpol's green notice is for warnings and intelligence. So it is to share intelligence on any sort of warning between member nations of a possible attack or a possible criminal hiding in a particular member nation. Now, in terms of yellow notice, it is for missing persons. So in case, and this notice is used for minor individuals. If they are, say, missing in a particular country, this notice is used to share information in case the person, any information about the missing person has been found, or the person itself has been found in, say, another member nation. So these are some of the color coded notices that help the police forces of these different member nations exchange information in an efficient.
Okay, so that is really to understand what the Interpol can possibly do. There are several notices that it can issue. Now, Sheikh Hasina, with regard to Sheikh Hasina, Mohammed Yunus's government is now seeking a red corner notice. And after that, it wants extradition or repatriation, actually, of Sheikh Hasina back, because it feels that the brutal suppression that happened under her regime needs to now be accounted for. And along with that, there are parallel other latest developments that are taking place in Bangladesh. I'm going to quickly now open this up with the guests who are joining me on the show, Salim Samad as well as Raza Al Karim, to really understand the latest that's unfolding in Bangladesh. In fact, Raza Al Karim, let me start with you. Two things have happened. One is the fact that a red corner notice is being sought. It hasn't been issued. It's being sought from Interpol. Parallelly, there are now, there's a clamor that's growing within the Awami League, which wants now and is knocking on the doors of the ICC, because it feels that Mohammed Yunus's government is also undertaking genocide. They've actually used the word genocide, quote unquote. So months after the turmoil that engulfed Bangladesh, it seems that normalcy is still some time away. Instead of bridging these divides, unfortunately, it seems that those factions are only growing.
You are right. Thank you. Actually, in this aspect, both the issue is logical. If you talk about the one you said about the Bangladesh, the filing case against chief advisor, that has some causes, and also again the red notice by Interpol, that has also good causes, because in Bangladesh currently against ex-Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, there are a lot of cases filed against her, and all those cases were related with against the humanity, against her killing the students, journalists, and her orders to the law enforcement agencies to kill the students and kill the common people. So this was aggressive act from ex-Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And again, about the filing case against a chief advisor, that has also caused is that after 5th August to 8th August, the one they have mentioned in their case under Article 15 Rome Statute, under that clause, they have filed a case under
Major
ICC.
Raza, Major Raza, I'll let you finish your point. Just one thing I want to say. In fact, let's quickly tell our viewers the big questions that we are in fact asking with regard to why what is happening in Bangladesh warrants the discussion. What is really unfolding there? There are two things parallelly happening. There are two agencies that are being knocked on by two different sets of political parties. One reaching out to Interpol, the second reaching out to the ICC, both demanding action against the other political outfit. Finish your point now, Major Raza, and then I get in Salim Samad.
Thank you. So you are right. So from the ICC, if the ICC accept the case from Awami League, then ICC also take it into consideration that what happened before 5th August. Because before 5th August, there are a lot of mass killing. So if you call it, if you term it as genocide after 5th August, then what happened before 5th August, that must be taken into consideration. That is also part of genocide.
Fair enough.
So,
let me now get in Salim Samad on this. Salim Samad, now the question is very, very clear, which is that as these parallel agencies are being brought into the picture, as parallel probes are being sought, one by the Awami League, second by the political opponents of Awami League, which are now in power right now, what happens to Bangladesh? What happens to the whole aspiration of walking towards normalcy? How far away is now Bangladesh from that goal?
Thank you for having me. First of all, you are possibly concerned about the two agencies. ICC is definitely a different entity where the Awami League leaders who have filed case against Professor Yunus. Unfortunately, Professor Yunus was not in power. She was out of the country. He has not taken oath on Dr. Yunus, in fact, took oath on the 8th. and their allegation is against Bangladesh or the leaders of Bangladesh or the management of the administration of Bangladesh from 5th to 8th, which where there was no government at all. There was no police, there was no law enforcement, there was no administration. It's absolutely a chaotic situation on the from the up to the 8th.
Okay, so
8th,
has
the
chaos
Dr.
ended
Yunus
now?
report,
I
this is
take
one.
your point that Mohammed Yunus, Professor Yunus was not in government then. My question is very simple, which is that has chaos ended now?
What kind of chaos you're talking about?
You tell me, there is one political outfit knocking on the doors of
tell me.
Interpol, one knocking on the doors of ICC.
Okay, Interpol. So let's talk about Interpol. Interpol, if you look into the website, you'll find hundreds of international terrorists are on the list. Interpol hadn't done much about getting those terrorists or the most wanted people. It was very hardly they have found somebody to take them to the court. So this is one issue. If you look into whatever the terrorists there, if you're talking about Al Qaeda, if you're talking about ISIS, they have done nothing. So I am not very hopeful about Interpol. Interpol is much. Yes, you can definitely point your fingers and say yes, there is has been included in the red notice of the most wanted. That's it.
Major Raza, I have two questions. Okay, two questions I'm going to ask to both of you. First is the fact that there seems to be a certain shift in the position of Bangladesh, which had earlier said that they will not be seeking a repatriation of Sheikh Hasina, they would not be seeking her extradition, and now there is the Law Minister of Bangladesh making it very clear that they want extradition, and they are of course knocking on the doors of Interpol. The question is, what has changed?
Actually, basically, you need to understand that where the current government is focusing. Current government is mostly focusing for the interest of the nation, and accordingly, Dr. Mohammed Yunus and his advisors, they are seriously working to build the nation, build the country, because previously before 5th August, there are a lot of turmoils went through. So all on a sudden, you cannot repair everything. But again, after 5th August, for certain period, there was no government, actually no authoritarian. So after 8th August, the new chief advisor and his team.
No, my question was what has changed? I was not asking you for chronology, sir. I understand that.
I'm coming to your point. So the change is that actually the moment the government is trying to bring certain positive changes, right at that moment, the Awami League and the other associated agencies, they are not cooperating. Especially that our law enforcing agency that is not still repaired. Our especially internal domestic, our discipline is not still okay. Our forces and our paramilitary forces, our border guards, our internal disciplinary forces, all of them are working together. But we need certain time.
Right. It's been 96 days, sir. It's been 96 days since the political upheaval started in Bangladesh, and it felt that maybe it is inching towards normalcy. These developments seem to indicate that isn't the case. Salim Samad, right. Salim Samad, I have one question. I'll come back to you, sir. I'll come back to you, sir. Okay, finish your point. Finish your point. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the reason our national election time is not declared, because the country is still not stable. If the country would have been declared stable, then the national election.
Fair enough. Elections are not being announced because you don't know when stability will return. Yeah. But the other side to it, Salim Samad, is that now there is a decision that's been taken by the government that whatever decisions this interim government will take will hold true. As and when elections take place, as and when a new prime minister comes in, these decisions, the ones that are being taken right now, will not be tested in court. Is there a sense in some intellectual quarters in Bangladesh that this indicates that it is moving away from accountability? Is the Mohammed Yunus government moving away from accountability to its people?
I am not sure what you are talking about describing to accountability. The accountability has never been implemented in Bangladesh since the liberation in 1971. So let's not talk about accountability and transparency. and the democratic institution, which is totally absent. So you cannot expect Yunus to overnight, make those institutions to grow in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. What I'm trying to tell you that Professor Yunus has time and again has mentioned even to the Indian media. You must have read that the trial until there's a verdict of the trial of Sheikh Hasina in the Bangladesh court, that the deportation or the repatriation or the
Right.
extradition will not take place. So
Sure.
this is one issue. And let me tell you one thing. He will not process this case until and unless the United Nations Human Rights Commission, which is already supposed
Okay.
to submit a report in the month of December.
Okay.
So obviously, this court will also not process the case of against Hasina, especially for crime against humanity.
Right. Okay. So lots of developments lined up. Let's see how soon the normalcy that everybody has been hoping for actually comes back. Major Raza Salim Samad, thanks so much for speaking to me on India Global. In fact, shifting focus now to the other big story that we are tracking. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar spoke at the India-Russia Business Forum. In fact, Dr. Jaishankar highlighted the long-term partnership with Russia, and he said that world is moving towards ever greater multipolarity. Remember, the first Deputy Prime Minister of Russia is in India right now. And on agenda is essentially the economic interests and strategic interests between Russia and India that are converging on multiple forums and multiple areas. Listen in to Dr. Jaishankar. We come back and talk more about the Russia-India relationship.
We are all aware of the complementary nature of our respective economies. If we recognize that fully, then it also follows that our approach is not transactional, but aimed at building long-term partnerships. In energy domains such as oil, gas, coal, or uranium, India will always be a major player in the international markets. This applies as well to the demand for fertilizers of various kinds. Constructing a mutually beneficial arrangement will help us both address the volatility and the uncertainty of our times.
All right, let's now, in fact, quickly get in my colleague Mohammad Ghazali to fill us in with the very latest in terms of what all can we expect from this high-profile visit. Go ahead, Mohammad, explain to us how crucial this visit is.
See, Gaurie, today Mr. Jaishankar was attending this India-Russia Business Forum meeting today, and tomorrow there is an intergovernmental meeting which is to be held in Delhi, Intergovernmental Commission. Now, Intergovernmental Commission is actually a host of ministries which is now being, from both sides, will be led by Mr. Jaishankar from India and his counterpart, or say the first Deputy Prime Minister who is in India. He will be holding that meeting tomorrow in Delhi. But what is the relevance of this visit? Most of these demands which the Foreign Minister today spoke while addressing the forum was around 10 things he spoke about, that how India and Russia can deepen their ties. But 3 things stand out. One, that trade should be done in national currencies or local currencies for both the governments. This is what he emphasized while he addressed the forum meeting. Second, while we are talking about that how relevant this visit of Russian First Deputy Prime Minister is to deepen the trade ties, this comes at a time when 19 Indian entities have faced sanctions from US State Department for having trade with Russia. So amid this, in the backdrop of these sanctions, India is still pushing ahead for deepening trade ties with Russia. Besides that, there is also talk about connectivity. There is international north-south transit corridor. Then there is a corridor which connects Chennai with one of the cities of Russia. So these 3 issues stand out in this meeting because while Russia is facing hostile relations with the other Western countries, meanwhile India is in a position that it can leverage its relations, it can deepen its relations with Russia. And tomorrow, most important meetings will be taking place in Delhi, in the national capital, when Mr. Jaishankar and the first Deputy Prime Minister of Russia will be holding talks about how in different sectors, be it defense, be it space, technology and other sectors, India and Russia can deepen their ties.
Right. All right, Mohammad Ghazali, we leave it there. Thanks much for explaining to us the significance of this visit. All right, on that note, we slip into a very, very short break. We come back on the other side, talk more about, well, the latest as far as the attack on the temple in Bramton. The organizer has been arrested. What next? We come back and tell you. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is India Global. And the big story that we are now focusing on is the latest as far as the Canada incident where the Bramton Hindu temple was attacked. And now latest update coming in is that the organizer of that attack has now been arrested. The Sikh for Justice coordinator Inderjit Gosal was charged with assault with a weapon. And remember, Sikhs for Justice is a banned terror outfit in India. Panun's aide has been arrested amidst the violent attack that took place on the temple in Bramton. Pro-Khalistani protest took place outside at the Hindu Sabha Mandir, and that led to that very violent attack that took place. Inderjit Gosal was considered and is considered Panun's lieutenant. In fact, an official word coming in from Sikhs for Justice, as I said, an organization that's banned in India and treated as a terror organization. It has said that Gosal was targeted by pro-Khalistan elements. All right, the latest update coming in as far as the US elections results and the impact that could happen as far as the India-US relationship is concerned. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar has said that, in fact, he's exuded confidence that the Indo-US ties will only bolster during President-elect Donald Trump's tenure. Dr. Jaishankar has said that India is unfazed by Trump's return and India is not concerned by the outcome of the US elections. And in fact, he highlighted Prime Minister's rapport with successive presidents of United States, including Donald Trump. He said that Prime Minister is among the first 3 calls that were made by President-elect Donald Trump. And in fact, what does Trump's return mean for Indo-US ties is a key question that is being watched and looked at, given the fact that tariffs, immigration and trade policies are likely to be the key focus areas over the next 4 years. Listen in to what Dr. Jaishankar said when asked about the future and the next course of the Indo-US relationship under Donald Trump's tenure.
Prime Minister was among the first 3 calls, I think, that President Trump took. And look, India, Prime Minister Modi has actually built rapport across multiple presidents. So, for him, there's something natural in terms of how he forges those relationships. I know today a lot of countries are nervous about the US, okay? Let's be honest about it. We are not one of them.
All right, on to the latest as far as COP29 is concerned. It's opened in Azerbaijan with focus as far as climate funding is concerned. Remember, this is an organization where all issues related to climate are likely or expected to be thrashed out. Climate funding being one such primary and key area of focus. Delegates from nearly 200 countries are attending COP29 and negotiators are seeking an increase in a $100 billion annual target. India is also set to focus on both climate finance as well as accountability, areas that impact developing countries the most. And next 10 days, we will know what is the final outcome of these negotiations. In fact, shifting focus now to the latest as far as Pakistan is concerned, where air pollution is now soaring, with Lahore now battling record smog, which is choking Pakistan's Punjab province. Multan has become one of the most polluted cities worldwide. The visuals that really tell you the story. Multan's air index actually hit 1,914. Unbelievable. Lahore at 760. Roads have been closed due to very poor visibility and also leading to multiple road accidents. And smog has forced High Court to in fact shut down. Trade activities have also been shut down after 8 p.m. All right, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Global. Thanks so much for watching.